So this is a 2020 M1 Mac Mini which came in with an issue of not turning on. So I was checking through the power supply pins here. So one pin was showing around 1.4 ohms to ground. So I just injected 1 volt into it, 1.5 volt, and it's taking about 1.1 amps, which is getting, something is getting boiling hot. This is my thermal camera. So this is how it looks. So upon inspection, so you can see it's something is getting hot here. So this is the infrared camera, the thermal camera which is used for infrared diagnosis of the motherboards. So previously we have noticed a short circuit on this Mac Mini, which was showing it on my thermal camera, and the short circuit is relieved now. So now what I have done is, so I am trying to inject 12 volts into this Mac Mini motherboard, which is an operational voltage. So these are the pins which are for 12 volts and ground, and this is the ground. So you can see more than one pin here, multiple pins here. So some of the pins are of 12 volts and some are ground and some are not connected. So since I have connected to one pin here, this is the 12 volts pin. So you cannot inject voltage or 12 volts randomly into any pin. It will kill the CPU and the entire motherboard and the crucial parts of the motherboard. So what I have done is, I have measured each and every pin with the multimeter here. So whichever was showing OL or high resistance in diode mode, so those are of 12 volts pin, and whichever is showing 0.01 voltage drop in diode mode is the ground or not connected. So this is the ground, and this is the main power intake pin. So if it's ground, you can connect ground to anywhere in this motherboard. This is the crucial part. This is the 12 volt input and this is the ground input. I have set my power supply to 11.62 is 12 volts because this is operational in 12 volts. So I have set the voltage to 12 volts. So now we are about to inject 12 volts. I have not yet induced power or set power or anything. I am connecting the fan. So I have connected the fan. The power supply is set to 12 volts. 11.60 is equal to 12 volts. So it's taking about 0.01 amps. So I have connected the HDMI, the fan is connected. So there's a power button here. So the moment I press the power button, it should hit 100 milliamps and plus, and the fan should start spinning. So let's see. So here is the power button. The power button usually is here. I'm pressing 1, 2, 3, go. And it shooted to 100 plus milliamps, 300 milliamps, 200 milliamps, and the power is fluctuating. It's taking power. The fan should start spinning at any moment now. Yeah, the fan is spinning and we got the image. So I cannot show you the client's name, and here you go. M1 Mac Mini with a dead motherboard is fixed. So this is the kind of diagnosis and this is the kind of repair we do. And if somebody is curious to know why I'm running this Mac Mini with this power supply like this, which is my bench power supply, the reason being, this Mac Mini came into us with an issue of not turning on, and we inspected when we have digged into the deep dive diagnosis. We have seen there is no 12 volts coming from the power supply of this, and the power supply of this Mac Mini usually inside. This is the power supply unit. You can see the black one on the right side. This is the power supply unit. This is the main input, and the multi cable pin inside is the power supply for the this motherboard of Mac Mini. So there was no 12 volts coming from this this particular thing inside the Mac Mini, and we tried doing this method earlier also, but it didn't work out. So when we were testing the 12 volts pin, so one of the 12 volt pin was shorted to ground, and it was showing about 0.0 ohms to ground. That means it's a dead short to ground. And upon inspection of the on thermal camera, we have noticed there is something which is getting hot. So I will just show you what are the components which were dead. So I really don't know whether you will be able to see with the naked eye. So this is one. This is 2. So these are the two components which were dead. So this was very clearly visible on the thermal camera. These are two capacitors which are shorted to ground on the 12-volt line. So we removed these two capacitors and started showing signs of life on the multimeter, and that is when we decided we'll just inject 12 volts into it and see if this Mac Mini turns on or not. And as you can see, it did turn on. You can see we have connected through HDMI, and this is the HDMI cable. Yeah, so this is how we fix dead Macs. This is usually logic involving diagnosis we do here, and as always we found luck on our side. This is fixed and ready to go back to the client. Thank you so much for watching.